Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another Fool's Gold review. And as you can see in today's Fool's Gold, I'm covering Justice League issue 62 and Future State Gotham issue 2. To get a rough idea as to how Fool's Gold works, I rate the cover, art and story. The currency conversion has to do with how much I paid, but through that, it also lets you, the viewer, know how much I think the story is actually worth, and does it actually meet the total to which I paid for it. And a lot of the cases, it can be a big fat no. And that's got to do with things that are missing in the story, things that might be important to the story, but not there. It might even be something in the art, or even the cover. So, time to get started with Justice League issue 62. Now, starting off with the cover, does this cover in the story in any way indicate something that happens similar in the story of basically the Justice League teaming up to go up against said villain? In other words, uniting together. And surprisingly, it does. And I gave this cover a 6.5 out of 10, to which I believe the cover is worth $1.40. Now to move into the internal art. But I'm only covering the first story, I will not be covering the backstory. Even though the backstory in this is 10 times better than this story. Now, this is some of the art around the beginning for the first story. And as you can see, the characters there are Hippolyta, the Flash, but we still don't know which Flash it's meant to be. Is it meant to be Barry? Is it meant to be Wally? We still don't know. Now, this is where Bendis is seriously failing in the storytelling. He needs to be able to let the reader know which Flash he's using. And of course, you can see a statue there in regards to Wonder Woman. Now to move towards the middle of the story, I must admit, I really enjoyed the internal art for this story. Now, time to move to the end. And this is the art covering the end. For this, I gave the art a 7 out of 10, to which I believe it's worth $1.50, which makes the present amount for the artist $2.90. Now, how much for the story? Now, I just realised I missed something here, so I do apologise ahead of time. As you can see, that the price of this is $4.99, but that's in US dollars. In Australian dollars, it converts to $8.95. So that's pretty much what Brian Michael Bendis has to get over in the story. In regards to the story rating. And as you know, one thing I mentioned is that you can't bank on Bendis at DC Comics. And I stays firm and true on that. Because a lot of the things that he's written hasn't been very good. About the only thing I can recommend of his, well, I'll get to that after the story rating. Alright, moving into story. Did this story give any references to any of the previous issues? No, it didn't. What about time? Do we know what time of day that this is all happening in? No, we don't. Did we at least get locations? One location, but we still don't know the name of the home location to which Naomi originally comes from. So that it's a big fat fail, especially in the area of locations. We only got one location, which was the Hall of Justice. Brian Michael Bendis certainly isn't showing a lot of creativity here. If anything, he's showing a lot less creativity here. Of course, with the cast of characters dealing with Superman, Batman, The Flash, who made his appearance earlier as shown in the artwork, Green Arrow, Black Canary, Hawkgirl, Brutus, who is one of the villains, or thought to be one of the villains, but he might actually have an alliance with the people of the land who go up against Zimbardo, who you saw at the end, Aquaman, Black Adam, which it sort of felt that his appearance wasn't here, even though he was mentioned in the beginning as to being there, and also Hippolyta, and of course Naomi. One interesting thing about this storyline is that we learned that Flash made a slight error in taking the members of the Justice League to Naomi's home planet, to which we still don't know the fucking name of. And that is terrible storytelling, care of Brian Michael Bendis. And in it, we learned that due to his bad maths, it also affected some of the powers or some of the things in regards to the heroes that went there alongside with Naomi. And yeah. And in comes Hippolyta for the save. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I did think that was a bit clever for the story. But the thing is, it also held back the story too. Such as when, in the previous issue, when you do get to see Brutus talking to the natives, we still don't know the fucking name of the home planet of Naomi. This should have at least been established from the first or second issue in connection to this run. And it hasn't. To which I gave the story rating a 5 out of 10. The only thing that's given it the 5 is letting us know who the cast of characters are. Nothing more, nothing less, which gives an overall total of $3.90. Now it's time to move on to Future State Gotham. Oh, and if I were to recommend anything of Brian Michael Bendis that you want to read, go pick up his Jinx World titles. I'll start off with one series I like of his, Powers. Go pick up Powers. Now it's time to move on to Future State Gotham, issue 2. The price I paid for it, $3.99, which is about $7.15 Australian. Let's see if it makes that money back. So looking at the cover, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to anything within inside the story? In part it does, to which I gave the cover a 6 out of 10. Now I want to give you a heads up that a lot of this art is in black and white. And to those who might not like the black and white and used to the colour, this book might not be for you. So time to move to the cover rating, to which I gave it a 6 out of 10, to which I believe it was worth $1.25. Now into the internal art. Now this is some of the art around the beginning, some art around the middle, and finally some art around the end. I do think the art in this actually increased. It did improve a little bit more than the previous issue, to which I gave the art or the internal art, 6.5 out of 10, making it to which I believe it's worth $1.40. Now, moving to the story. Oh, there is an additional story added to this, and I did decide to rate it, seeing that John Ridley wrote it, to see how terrible, or how much more terrible his story's writing has gotten at DC Comics. So, he's doing the Bendis thing, and he's failing upward. So, starting off with the first things first, moving in regards to story rating. What did it cover in time? Nothing at all, cause Joshua Williamson loves to fail at that. Location. Of course, we got Gotham City. And surprisingly, towards the end, we also got a visitation into Blackgate Prison. The cast of characters consisted of Nightwing, Red Hood, Tim Drake, Black Lightning, Peacekeeper. We also had the appearance of Astrum Arkham. In the story, you pretty much learn that Red Hood has to go undercover to basically play his part in exposing the magistrate, and through that, in playing his part in sort of like exposing the magistrate, he has to play the traitor. Now, this sort of reminds me of something similar that happened in the Grayson run, to which something happened with Dick Grayson, and they had to change the scenario, to which he had to infiltrate, I think it was Spiral. And because of that, as things finished up, Dick Grayson did actually come back and be recognised as being alive and not dead. It feels like that story, but copy and pasted into this, but just applied to the character of Red Hood instead of Dick Grayson. To which I gave the story rating a 5 out of 10, to which I believe it's worth $1. So overall, we're looking at $3.65 for that first story. Now, I did indicate that there was a secondary story, to which I'll be covering the art as well as the story rating. This is some of the art around the beginning, middle, and last but not least, the end. For the art, I gave it a 5 out of 10. For the story, I gave it a minus 10 out of 10. This creator can't stop writing 12 Years a Slave in his writing. He's obsessed with racism and racist cult groups. He even sounds like he's a part of a racist cult group. Ridley, if I were to make any suggestions to you, go back to your movie career. You're not made for comics. And I'm sure you know that too. And by the way, I've got nothing of Ridley's that I can recommend for you to pick up and read. About the only thing I can recommend is something that he's already put out there, which I haven't even watched myself. And that is 12 Years a Slave. Well, until then, please don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and please make sure that YouTube isn't unsubscribing you, because I've noticed a lot of unsubscriptions being done care of YouTube recently, and I know I've had a fair amount of subscribers end up dropping off, and it's looking that I know that I'm not the first channel that this has happened to, where even including people who have subscribed to channels, find out that they have since later been unsubscribed from the channel because YouTube reasons. A little bit racist of them, I must admit, amongst other little words, bigotry included. List continues. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.